Now, many of you will know that last week we covered quite a number of topics onto this channel, from how to start, how do you decide on which broker to choose, and how to pick stocks. We did discuss quite a number of things that you need to look into when you are deciding or when you want to pick a certain stock, which, like I discussed last week, it's strong financials, competitive advantage, growing industry, valuation. You look at things like technical analysis, market and economic conditions, because that also plays a huge role. It's not just about what the company is doing or how the company is performing, but it's also how is the economy doing or performing here in South Africa. How is the economy looking like? Because in a scenario where inflation is too high, interest rates are high, investors don't want to partake or invest into that kind of a market condition, and therefore you need to also check that. That is what we discussed last week. Now, on today's video, we want to discuss, or something very important that I want to discuss with you, is that when do you sell a stock? Otherwise, before we dig deep into this video, I want to ask you to subscribe if you've not subscribed to this channel, and like this video, because I talk all day, every day about how to invest in the stock market, some of the companies that are doing the most, and determine if it is good to buy those companies now or not, which is something that is always great. But you know that whatever I say on this channel, it's not professional financial advice. If you seek professional advice, you already know what to do, and that is you need to go out there and consult the professionals. All I say here are just my opinions. So yeah, back to the video. Deciding on when to sell a stock can be quite challenging or tricky, and therefore you must make sure that, of course, you tick some of these boxes before you decide to sell your stock. Now, you can sell your stock either by looking at the charts, that's the technical analysis, which is not my strategy. I said it in previous videos. Or you can sell a stock based on fundamental analysis. This is when you are analyzing your company fundamentally based on their financials, based on how they are performing financially, which is something that, of course, this is what I usually use. And obviously, like I always say, based on the economy, what is happening in our economy, because in a scenario where inflation is up or it's high, cost of living is high, interest rates are high, some of the investors or big financial institutions, you will find them selling some of their stocks because they know that companies don't usually do well under that environment, which will obviously make stocks not even perform that well. So you need to obviously think about these things. So you decide to sell a stock based on the technical analysis, fundamental analysis, and obviously the economy outlook, or how the economy of your country or of South Africa is performing. Now, let's quickly go under fundamental analysis. Number one, you want to check how the company or the change in company's fundamentals. So when you bought that company, you bought it based on your performance, right? Or how it was doing, or doing well financially. Now, if the company starts dropping or starts seeing their revenues dropping, it means that the fundamentals are not as strong as they used to. This even goes to your profitability, EPS, earnings per share, which measures the profitability. If it is dropping, it's not a good sign, because it means that that company is not as profitable like it used to, and therefore it might be signaling that it's time for you to go out. You check these things. Cash at hand, liquidity. This, you'll know that it offers the highest level of liquidity. If a company has got cash in hand, or cash that there is just, they stacked somewhere in case of emergencies, this is a very good sign that, of course, you need to buy that company, or that company is a good company. But if that cash is dropping, decreasing, then you know maybe that company has done its utmost best, and it might be the time for you to leave that stock, right? Now, number two, the reason why you would sell your stock, your shares of certain company, it's when you have achieved your investment goals, right? Now, everyone, when they start a business, when you are investing in the stock market, when you are saving money in the bank, we all have goals. You are not just doing this. I'm not just investing. I have my goals. So obviously, when my goals are met, it's either I trim my holdings, or I do something else that was my primary goal. To say, when I get to this amount, or when my portfolio gets to this amount, or when I save this amount, then I will do this. There's always a goal. So some people sell their stocks after reaching a specific goal. It might be a goal of reaching to or taking your portfolio to 1 million 10 million, 20 million, 1 billion. That might be your goal, and when you get to that goal, you might start selling some of your companies because you have reached your target or you have gotten to your goal, which is also one of the main reasons why people would sell their stock. Now, another reason, which is the third reason under the fundamental reasons to sell your company, is shift in market conditions. Now, you will know that there are some of the sectors which are expected to do very well in the future. Like I can give you one sector now that I talk about on my other channel. Those of you that might still don't know, I have got a second channel where it's more of an international channel. But I'm still talking about stocks. I'm still talking about shares, but it's just that I'm talking about the New York Stock Exchange listed shares. In fact, I'm talking mostly about one company who I like and I'm investing a lot in. Now, this company that I'm talking about there, it's an EV stock called NIO, or it's a company by the name of NIO. And NIO, it's an electric vehicle maker or an electric vehicle car company. Now, why do I talk about that company there? Well, it's because its sector, its industry, its market, it is expected to rise or to continue rising. It is expected to do well as the countries all over the world are changing from gas cars into electric cars. Even here in South Africa, in the next maybe years to come, you will start seeing more of electric cars on the road because globally, because of the climate change, the countries all over the world, they are trying to make sure that they play their part into making sure that climate change does not hurt us that much, because if they don't do that, the countries don't participate into that, then we are going to continue facing consequences that comes with not taking care of our environment. I mean, not taking care of our environment can lead to quite bad things, right? Like bad weather, heavy rain, storms and all that, which it is for this reason that countries all over the world are shifting into making sure that our environment is at a good state. And one of the reasons to obviously go there is to remove gas cars or engine cars on the road, because they release emissions which damaged our environment. And that is for that reason that electric vehicles are the future, are the way to go, and why I invest onto, of course, that market. So you need to also look at this. EV market, it's a sector or an industry which is expected to do very well based off what I just told you now. And therefore, if you were investing into engine cars or into car companies that are still selling engine cars or gas cars, we know the market is changing. You might have to start look into obviously EV industry or new energy vehicle industry, where with the world, not just US, not just China are headed, but the world is headed. Because at the end of the day, in fact, some of the countries right now, countries like Norway, 90% or over 90% of the cars that they are selling in Norway are electric vehicle cars, which means that there are countries that are obviously dominated by electric vehicles on the roads like Norway, and that is going to come also in South Africa, which it might mean that the opportunities are on EV cars, the opportunities are in electric vehicles, batteries, the opportunities are in the minerals that they use when they are making EV cars, like lithium. Lithium, you know that it's usually mined, which is very, very interesting and important. So now these are some of the things that you might need to have at the back of your mind as you are investing. You need not to only invest into companies that have been doing so well in the past and maybe are still doing well now, but you need to also think about companies that might do very well, industries that might do very well. So this is another reason, that third reason that you need to, of course, it helps you decide in selling your stock or not. So shift in market conditions, that is the third step. Then you've got a technical analysis to check. I'm not a technical guy, so I don't know much, but you know, support, resistance, indicator patterns, trend reversal and all that. You need to check all those things if you're a technical guy. I'm not. I use fundamental analysis. So yeah, these are some of the things that you need to take into cognizance when you want to sell your shares. It is very important that before you sell a stock, you don't just sell because your neighbor or someone close to you is selling, but you sell based on an analysis which you have taken as an investor. It is your responsibility that you learn how to analyze a company. I have done a video also about that, as to how do you analyze a company. I have done a video on how to pick a stock. I have done a video how to find the best broker, how to invest in the stock market. I have done those videos, most of them last week, which if you have not watched them, I will suggest that you go and check them out, because yeah, I'm pouring out my experience. I'm pouring out what I understand about these things, based on my experience, based on what I have read, which makes it easier for you to not start at the foundation or at the bottom, because I'm sharing some of the tips and tricks on how to invest better in the stock market. Otherwise, tell me what you think about this. Remember, we are investing in the stock market to make money. I said 2025, it is the year for making money, for printing money. And I just hope end of this year, you are one of those people, or one of the few people that generated lots and lots of money in the stock market. That's all from me, man. I'll see you in my next video, and God bless you all.